Welcome, everybody. I am Gimba Omar, and this is State of the Nation. It probably is the statement of the week. The president has said to his supporters, don't be worried about the defections from the All Progressives Congress, saying that God will fish out, in his words, bad eggs amongst us. The president said this in a rally in Bauchi State ahead of the Bauchi South Senatorial District by-elections on August the 11th. He said the party has not forgotten its campaign promises and that they are working to surpass it. The Buhari administration in 2015 rode on 3 points: a strong economy, security, and war against corruption to win the people's mandate. After more than 3 years in office, the president and the APC have come under criticism for their performance, especially regarding the handling of killings in the country. The backlash, a hit on the party with defections since July 24th, when almost 50 lawmakers defected from the party to the opposition PDP in what is today seen as a season of defection and impeachment. Imo State Deputy Governor Eze Madumere, who until the court suspended his impeachment, experienced political turmoil, and perhaps he is still in that state with his security details taken away from him. Let's get a broader perspective on the vexed issue of defection, impeachment, and indeed security in states worst hit by bandits. Ibrahim Dosara is the spokesperson of the Zamfara State government, as well as Honorable Henry Ezedairo, a member of the Imo State House of Assembly. They both join me from Abuja studios. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the show at this time, as well as Liboros Oshoba is a lawyer. He's here with me in our Lagos studios. I want to thank you all for joining me at this time. Let's begin with the political outcomes in Imo State. The Deputy Governor, Eze Madumere, in a release, fears for his life right now. That's the security details that we're getting. His security details are now withdrawn despite a restraining order on all parties to stay action pending determination of the impeachment by the courts. Does he have a reason, do you think, to say that his life is open to attacks? Honorable Eze.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you, viewers. The court did not suspend the impeachment process of Eze Madumere, first and foremost. On Monday, 27th, the House of Assembly Imo State impeached Eze Madumere based on the report we got on Friday. And on that report from the seven-man panel set up by the Chief Judge, the report from House of Assembly has it clear that they say that what we sent from House of Assembly for them to investigate, that Madumere was culpable, and the report will have which the House now starts and looked into. So, as at Monday, Madumere was already impeached. The purported court order that they're talking about as we speak, I'm not aware of any court order served on House of Assembly. And what we're talking about is the issue of the court order that the Attorney General of Imo State said that he received, which he advised the government that there is a court order restraining the Chief Judge from swearing in Madumere. So as at Monday, we've already concluded the process of impeachment of the Deputy Governor, and the process of the Deputy Governor designate have already been concluded. So it was only on Tuesday that the report came in from the Attorney General that we should suspend the swearing-in ceremony of the new Deputy Governor, who the Governor of Imo State said, okay, as a man that obeys court order, that swearing-in should hold on.
Okay, let me just butt in for a minute or two and bring it back to Lagos here. What's your direct impression about what he has said?
You know, sometimes when these people talk, you wonder if they are talking from the moon, because we are all parts of this country. We see what is happening, we hear what is happening, we listen to news, we have people on ground also. I can tell you, and I had said this here before, it's almost impossible for any state house of assembly not to do the bidding of a state governor. Madumere didn't have this problem until they started having problems of who occupies the seat from 2019. And I can also tell you, even though Honorable Eze might deny it, that almost all the members of the State House of Assembly resignation letters were collected from them before swearing in. I stand to be corrected. And so that's why you see them.
What proof do you have on that?
I've spoken to some of them. I wouldn't want to mention names. So that's why you see them do what they do. But then, on the state, the courts, let's even now follow the story legally. The matter was in court even before the adoption of the report. And the court had asked parties to maintain status quo. I have a colleague also who practiced law in Imo State and also had been feeding us from our group. And that parties had been asked by the court to maintain status quo. Why did the court now restrain them from swearing in a new deputy governor if actually the action had been completed? Because the court as at that time felt they were seized of the matter, give us time to determine truly who is right or wrong. And then maybe if the court had been allowed to determine the matter, they would probably have asked the State House of Assembly to go on. But no, in spite of that, the House of Assembly went ahead to conduct the impeachment processes. And that was why that order also came, that the process is still ongoing. And
that very process now, proof is very important here, and is very key indeed. But is there a proof of this impeachment of the deputy governor in the first place of Imo State, which is getting, talking about the process, getting the first getting the one-third signatures from the members of the House of Assembly, and also getting the 2/3 majority that can now impeach him?
You remember, before the case of Ladoja and Oyo State House of Assembly, people had, even including lawyers, had heavily relied on subsection 10 of section 188, that court had no powers to challenge the process of impeachment. But the Court of Appeal, in its wisdom, in that case, held that if you do not comply with subsection 1 to 9 of section 188, you cannot invoke subsection 10. And so, I think when this process started, what the applicants did was to hurriedly approach the court, seeking for a restraining order. Whether the court will grant that order perpetually, at the end of the day, it's a different ballgame altogether. But what I feel is that while the matter was sub judice, I don't see any need for the hurry. The House of Assembly ought to have respected the powers of the court and then make their representation and allow the court to determine the matter one way or the other. And that's why you have this quagmire that you have now, where the deputy governor is saying, look, I have not been validly impeached. He's still holding on to the office. And then the governor's camp is saying, no, just like Mr. Eze is saying that we have impeached the deputy governor. And yet, if you have impeached him and there's an order, on what plank is that order not to swear in resting on if the matter was not in court?
Very clearly, it's a season of defections and impeachments, which is what we're looking at today. But in a broader outlook of the developments in the political space, the APC chairman, Adams Oshomole, says that he is not losing sleep in the start, saying that those who defected from the APC have no electoral value. Does he have a reason to wake up from his sleep now with the recent carpet crossing by Saraki and Tambuwal of Sokoto State, who is neighboring to your state, Zamfara State? How has that positioned the APC in your view, Mr. Dosara?
Personality or any individual, because politics is a game of number. So no matter how somebody is, you need him. Honestly, I am against that statement by the national chairman of the party to say that they don't have value. They have value. And all he needs to do is to make sure that he brings mechanisms that will be able to ask other people who are intending to go not to go. This is the reality. Otherwise, he will just be saying that, and people will be getting out of the party, and at the end of the day, the party will lose the election, which is terrible for him.
Now, security indeed is to an extent, of course, is tied to these defections that we have experienced. That's seen in Benue State by Governor Ochum, for instance, and some other governors don't feel quite comfortable not being able to give directives to the police in times of attacks like Governor Abdulaziz, your governor, Abdulaziz Yari. He's of the APC. Is he planning to defect as well?
Well, before I go into that issue, let me first of all, on behalf of His Excellency, Governor Abdulaziz Yari, condole the families of those who lost their lives in the recent attacks, and also pray for those who are injured during the attacks, and wish them a quick recovery. And also reassure the people of Zamfara State that His Excellency is on his toe trying to make sure that lives and property of the people of Zamfara State are safe. And he will not relent in his effort to ensure that. And coming to your question of whether Abdulaziz Yari, the governor of Zamfara, is defecting because of insecurity which governor of Benue State did, the two governors cannot be compared because Abdulaziz Yari is up and doing in terms of security. He has been providing all the necessary support and logistics for the security to carry out their job in Zamfara State. He has been also collaborating with the military high authorities, telling them what is happening, giving them the intelligence, and also reporting to them the activities of security personnel in the state, and also wishing they take necessary action to ensure that the people of Zamfara State are protected. But to no avail. I can tell you that His Excellency, Governor Abdulaziz Yari, spent over 14 billion naira to sponsor
even
operations.
Though my apologies, even though these are the same kind of conditions we saw in the Benue State governor's situation, which led to his defection. But I will have to ask you, that particular question of your governor not staying put in his state, leaving the state vulnerable for attacks, that's coming up shortly after this break. And of course, we're going to be staying with the politics in Imo State as well as those defections that have been recorded across board. Stay with us.